Hey, what's up guys, it's Obsolete here. Today we'll be showing off the Qwerty Bosses and Items mod. This mod actually adds a Shapeshifter class, and so let's just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, to start out, there's two different types of shapeshifts. There is quick shifts, and then there's just the normal ones. The normal ones you can just go ahead and go back and forth between, but the quick ones actually have a cooldown. So let's go ahead and start with the quick ones first. We first have the bunny. So if we go ahead and use it here, we will go ahead and turn into this bunny right here, and we can go ahead and actually kick people with it. And I found that it actually does stun sometimes. So if we go ahead and spawn in something here, spawn in like a blue slime maybe, sometimes you will actually get a stun animation. Let me try that again. But on occasion, you can, oh, right there. So he's stunned right there. And so it does happen sometimes. And, you know, as you can see, we're dealing, you know, maybe like 20 damage or so a second. It's not really that crazy, but you're just a bunny, so you're not really supposed to do that much damage, I'd imagine. But it's a pretty cool little deal. That's just the first one of many. So if we go ahead and come back here, we can go ahead and get out of the bunny and check out the next one. The next one is a hovercraft. Go ahead and check this out. So we go ahead and use it here, and we actually can kind of fly around a little bit and just fly like this, which is super cool. The sound effects are really nice as well, and you actually do some pretty good damage, and the mobility that you get from this is actually really high, and you can move up and down. Super cool. And then this one, for example, you can craft these, and this one's crafted by just 20 meteorite bars, so it does work with progression as well. Let's go ahead and get out of this one and check out the next one. The next one we have is the spiked slime. It does exactly what you would think it does. You've turned yourself into a spiked slime, and you can actually use those attacks that they would use, and it's actually pretty nice. The attack speed's pretty good, and you actually deal a pretty good amount of damage, and I think you still have some pretty good movement speed as well, so it's not like you're super slow or anything. So I'm pretty impressed by that. The next one we have here is this thing, I don't know. And if we go ahead and use it here, we turn into this eye thing that can shoot these little projectiles. The sound it makes is kind of strange. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it sounds kind of weird, but it does a lot of damage, and I mean, you can move freely like it's like an actual mount, you know? So you can basically move wherever you want, and I think you have unlimited flight time as well, so it's pretty useful. The next one here is the glass cannon. This one, let's check out what this one does. We turn into this. It looks like we can't really move, but it turns out we just go ahead and do massive damage. So the only downside about this one is you can't move, but that's probably why it's called the glass cannon. You just are this kind of sitting duck target, but you can deal massive damage with this, so it's really impressive. And if we go ahead and check out the next one, we have the anvil, which sounds really weird at first, you would think. So it does exactly what you'd think. You turn yourself into an anvil. Doesn't seem that good at first, but however, if you go ahead and go above an enemy and then use the anvil, you start to do some pretty good damage numbers. So while it's probably a little bit unpredictable and a little bit unrealistic to maybe use it, I feel like maybe you can make it work. Like, let's go ahead, let's summon like King Slime and see, where is he at? There he is. Go ahead and see if this is actually usable or not. I am in God mode, but, oh, I totally missed him. Let me get out of that. So if I go ahead and go like this, oh, it just does damage like that. Now, do I take damage? Is the question. I imagine I do, right? Okay, yeah, so you do take damage. For a while you don't. Whenever you're in the, like, right when you get out of it, you'd start to, but you do have a little bit of a period where you don't take any damage. We have the tank, and let's go ahead and check this one out. So as you can see, you turn exactly what you would think. You turn into a tank, and it looks like you can't aim 100% downward, so it does shoot at a little bit of an angle, but I mean, you're doing some pretty decent damage. Not as good as the anvil, for example, but pretty good damage. If we go ahead and maybe spawn in a boss here, let's check out how good this is, you know? So we got King Slime there, doing about like 3% damage per hit, which is actually really good. Not the best in the world, but definitely not too bad. And this one, for example, is crafted out of, let's see, oops. This one looks like it's not even crafted, apparently. Must be a drop from a boss of some sort, I'd imagine. Next up, we have the last one of Prehardmode, which is the laser shark. This one is actually a water one, so we're gonna have to go ahead and go in water for it. Here we are. Okay, so now we're on the right biome, and as you can see, we can go ahead and shoot, and it's like an underwater one, which is kind of cool. Let's see what we can probably fight here. I don't know, like, we summon a blue slime, and we kind of just insta-kill it, because of our damage. It does like 100 damage, which is pretty decent. It's not great. Oh, it actually pierces as well. That's awesome. So this is also a piercing weapon, so that's quite good. And you can kind of do some hops out. I wonder if you do contact damage, actually. Do I do? Let's test it out. Can you figure it out? Doesn't look like we do contact damage, so that's unfortunate. Would be kind of nice if you did. But as you can see, you can do some pretty good damage, and the piercing effect is pretty nice. And this is actually the last of the pre-hard mode summons, or the pre-hard mode shapeshifters. Let's go ahead and move on to the hard mode ones now. So, moving on to that, we have the Skullcopter, which this one, I tested it out and it's actually really, really cool. So this goes ahead and turns you into kind of like a Skeletron Prime looking thing, and you can release bones that are kind of like grenades out of your mouth. And the damage, as you can see, let's see if we can get closer and get a better damage stat. Let's see. It's a little hard to control sometimes, kind of getting used to it here. But as you can see, getting like 500 damage per second, which is pretty nice. And as always, we have to go ahead and test it out on King Slime. Let's go ahead and check that out. He's right here. So this should do a lot better work on him because of the fact that he's just a lot more damage. Should be able to take care of him pretty quickly. Yeah, as you can see, does its job quite well. I will say the controls are a little hard to get used to. Maybe if you mastered it, it would be pretty good. But I am having trouble actually controlling this because it's a little awkward. But we did defeat the King Slime and all of his little minions. So pretty decent here. And then we have the last one of pre-hard mode, which is this little SS Hurricane, which is another one that is a ship one, but you kind of are this little like Duke Fishron looking thing. The damage is insane on this, by the way. We're doing like 2,300, 2,500 damage, so it's really, really good. But this is another one that would be a water summon, I guess, unless I'm using this wrong, but it seems to me that you are kind of stuck wherever you use this, if I'm not mistaken. Because I don't seem to be able to move well. I can move left and right? Oh, okay, so yeah, your vertical position is completely locked, it looks like. But your left and right position, or your horizontal position, can move around. So you can't really shoot below you or anything like that, that's the only downside, I suppose. But it does really, really good damage if you can manage to use it correctly. And now we have to go ahead and get into some new stuff. So the new stuff here, these are ones that are actually on a 30-second cooldown. So this one right here is a little barrage, and it launches a huge barrage of darts that deal massive damage. Let's go ahead and check it out. We go ahead and hit our little key here. And as you can see, that just did 1,550 damage per second. And then there's a little cooldown, so it's like you can't use another quick morph for a while. So like 30 seconds or like a little bit more than 30 seconds. So we have to go ahead and wait for that. But it's really cool. These ones are really, really powerful that do a ton of damage. So we're going to go ahead and wait this out, and then after that we will go ahead and return and test out the Thorn Mass one. So the next one is the Thorn Mass one. It does 30 morph damage, and it says you turn into a mass of thorns that massively damage whatever runs into it. And apparently you don't take damage while you're morphed, and it's a 20-second cooldown. So let's check this out. Let's go ahead and like go right here maybe, and just... Wait, did I do it wrong? Massive damage is whatever it runs into. Let's test this out again. I don't think I got a good look at it. I thought I was going to turn into like a thorn pile, kind of like the anvil, but it doesn't look like that's what happens, so let's check this out. Maybe I have the wrong video. Oh no, it does do that. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so it looks like you turn into like a little thorn pile, and then if you hit something, it looks like you explode into like, you know, just thorns in all directions. I wouldn't say that's the best one, but it's alright, I guess. The next one is the Ancient Nuke. So it says, briefly turns you into an ancient nuke that causes a massive explosion when you collide with something. Don't worry, you'll live. 300 morph damage. Let's just check this out. Do I just go ahead and go like this? Oh, you can control it. That's awesome. Okay, hold on. Ooh, 282 damage. I wouldn't say the best damage, but it's actually pretty good for mobility, so that's kind of neat. Not the best though, not the best so far. Next up we have the Cthulhu Stare. We do have to wait out the little cooldown here, but it does 200 morph damage. Its morph type is quick, you don't take damage while you're morphed, 30-second cooldown, and you briefly turn into the Eye of Cthulhu and you charge wherever you point. So let's go ahead and check this out. does exactly what you thought, I suppose. I noticed I actually kind of like bounced off of that as well, so I don't know if you can like kind of bounce off of things, but still pretty cool. Damage was a little bad, but still pretty neat. The next one we have is Hydra's Barrage, and it's a 24-second cooldown, and I guess all of these you just don't take damage while you're morph, and it launches a barrage of Hydra Breath. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like. I don't know if we're going to turn into the breath or what happens, but check it out. Oh, whoa. So just for a few seconds, you have like a bunch of Hydra heads that are kind of like going around you. I actually want to see that again. Hold on, I'm going to wait for this. I want to see if I can like float and do it or how this works, because this was really cool actually. And the damage seemed to be pretty good as well. Okay, let's check it out. So we go like this. Oh, okay, that's actually really cool. I like how the heads like rotate as well. That's actually super neat. Damage was a lot better than the last one. The damage was a lot better than the last one. Okay, next up we have Spazzer's Eye. This turns you into Spasmatism, and you breathe Eye Fire, and you charge. 30-second cooldown, and 400 morph damage. So let's go ahead and check this out. Let's go ahead and do downwards. Oh, I'm just a little bit out of range. The charge did so much damage, so holy, okay. So the DPS on that charge is insane. Let's go ahead and try that again, but let's actually hit the fire. Oh, there we go. That's much better. Okay, so like the fire does like 1,500, and then the actual charge is like 5,000 damage. Next up we have Sword Quake. This one, 900 morph damage, and it's 32-second cooldown. It turns into a sword that causes a deadly sword quake upon striking the ground. I guess we'll find out what this is all about. I'm imagining that it's going to be like Eruption of Swords, judging by the name. It's going to be like Earthquake, but with swords, right? Yeah. I didn't manage to actually hit the dummy with the main thing. I only hit it with the main sword, so I'm going to go ahead and try this again. We're going to wait this out, but I want to see what happens if the swords hit, if the damage is good, or if it's kind of bad. Okay, damage is like 918, not really great, but for like events or something, that'd be amazing. Could wipe out like a whole goblin army right there. The last one we have is the Rune Nuke. It does 1,200 morph damage, and it has a 27-second cooldown. It briefly turns you into a Rune Nuke that causes a massive explosion when you collide with something, and it releases a bunch of leech runes. So let's go ahead and check this out. I imagine you can control this one just like the other nuke one. That was a little bit worse than this one, so let's check it out. Yep, you can control it. And I don't think I actually hit it because of this block here. But I didn't see like the leech thing, so I don't know if I did this wrong. So we're going to try this again. There we go. Okay, 1,100 damage, and then it did like a little leech thing that did like 50. So not the greatest. I think the one that did the most was actually the Spazzer's Eye, I want to say. Because this one did like 5,000 damage on the charges. And then this one, which is actually one of the like badder ones, or like the ones that are like early game, actually did pretty good damage. Like, it says it only does 26 morph damage, but believe me, this thing actually, that's a lot more damage than 26, you know? So that's actually really, really good. So that's really all for the shapeshifters. That's all of the weapons that are covered. So that these were all hard mode. These were all pre-hard mode. These two were hard mode, and then these two were all pre-hard mode. You can actually craft these, and it's just a Qwerty Bosses and Items mod if you guys want to test this out for yourself. They're pretty cool. I gotta say that the favorite so far is probably the Spazzer's Eye, just because of the damage. And then as terms of the actual normal ones, I think my favorite has got to be this little thing right here. Just because the mobility you have, and just the damage is actually pretty consistent, to be honest. But yeah, that's about it. So that's really all for the Shapeshifter mod in Qwerty Bosses and Items. But if you guys want to see more, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And this is kind of my first time trying a video like this, so if you guys did enjoy and want to see more like showcase type videos, make sure to leave a like and all that good stuff, and maybe I'll make more if you guys like it. Thank you guys for watching.